I'm Alex.
I'm James.
We're the Ragamuffins, and we were lucky enough to attend Takedown Festival 2023 back in April.
And today we're excited to talk to Sarah and Kai, the directors of Takedown Festival, to talk about 2023 and a bit of the future. Thanks for coming back and having the time with us again. Very much appreciated. I mean, first of all, have you guys had a chance to have any rest since Takedown? And has it been non-stop, ready for next year and just busy with everything? Or any chance to chill and relax at all?
Not really, no. Weekend of R&R in over the bank holiday, but yeah, I'd like to say we're headlong into next year, but we haven't even really been able to start on that much yet. It's just been busy with all of everything we got going on. So, but we're getting there.
Awesome. I mean, when we spoke to you guys back in December, things were very relaxed. But I'm curious to hear, between then and the festival itself, what was that lead up like? Was it a stressful time? I'm sure it was, but what was it like for you guys?
It wasn't too stressful, actually. I mean, the last couple of weeks always are really stressful because you're trying to make sure that everything is exactly where you would expect it to be. But we had great partners with the venue, Portsmouth Guildhall, so they did a lot of the logistical stuff. They took care of all the staffing, all of the riders, all of the backstage areas. That was all sorted for us. So all we were really focusing on was artist accreditation, making sure that everybody knew where they needed to go and that we had all of the right artist liaison people from our side. So that's where we've got individuals just making sure that the bands are fully looked after on the day and dealing with anything like that. We had a few last minute guitar string debacles on the day, but other than that, it was pretty good, really.
Yeah, I think the only fraught moment on the setup was where it was first year with our new partners on the event. And obviously having the experience of several previous takedowns as well, I was kind of aware of how how sales ebb and flow when it comes up to the event. And just after Christmas, there was a slightly awkward meeting where there was a lot of hand wringing and thinking, are we going to get to where we need to get to? And I had to just say, look, just chill, it'll be fine. I didn't know it was going to be fine, but based on previous years, pretty much every Christmas I go, oh my God, is this going to get to where it needs to get to? But it did, so everyone's happy.
That's great to hear that they were able to take care of the sort of festival staff and things like that. Because from our perspective as festival goers, all the staff that we interacted on the day were amazing. They were so helpful, and yeah, it was just a really, really brilliantly run day for us. So that's really great they were able to sort of take care of that for you guys.
And that's great for us to hear as well, because we obviously see it from a totally different side. I mean, I think I bumped into you guys for about a couple of minutes at the VIP lounge, and I was still sort of in the I need to be doing something, I'm not quite sure what's going on phase, and I didn't really have time to talk to you guys properly. But everything we've heard about the venue and everybody that we had on site has been positive, and Portsmouth Guildhall were really keen to have a metal event in the area, as are we, because it's woefully underrepresented on the South Coast. And every single, I mean, even the venue manager went and saw Punk Rock Factory. So she is not a metal fan at all, not into the genre, was a bit concerned that we were going to be big, fat, hairy, stereotypical metalers that were going to be really scary.
Some of us were.
Yeah, of course. And there were no incidents throughout the day. She got to watch Punk Rock Factory and thought it was the best thing ever, and everybody just thoroughly enjoyed themselves, whether they were working or they're attending. So that is exactly what we wanted for the event, and that's what we hope to get out of it next year as well.
Yeah, I think that the debrief on the event was really just a couple of operational issues and some common sense stuff. It was absolutely minor in the grand scheme of things, so hopefully we're just going to be able to just fine-tune it and tweak it a little bit to make it better for 2 days next year.
Sounds like it went about as flawlessly as it could for having an 8-year break, really.
Pretty much. That's what happens when you put me in charge.
There you go.
It's the only thing that's different. So we go. If it was a control test, then you've made it
one. Yeah.
So you mentioned before when we spoke to you previously that everything you kind of felt would be the same. There would be no major break or major change in the 8 years since. Obviously, having that support from Portsmouth Guildhall was fantastic, but was there anything else that you hadn't really foreseen that was an issue leading up to it, that during that time away was a bit like, oh, that's different, that's a change, or something you had to adapt to?
There's lots of new stuff that we did. So we had a full range of merch, which has never been done before. So that was interesting. And actually that was really well received and sold really well on the day. So that was great. I'm not sure if there's...
In terms of differences between takedowns of old, I think just there was a level of competition on the booking side that I hadn't experienced back in 2015. I think there were fewer events in the market back then. So the cost of some of the bands was definitely eye-opening, and just the sheer amount of exclusivities on certain artists as well, and the exclusion zones and where else they could play. It was quite a minefield for the initial kind of run of artists we were approaching, but thankfully we sort of found our way through that and ended up with a pretty stellar lineup, really.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier that the day itself was very busy for you, so I'm wondering, were you able to catch that many bands, and if so, like which bands stood out to you that you enjoyed the most?
I mean, we sort of dipped in and out. I wasn't able to kind of sit down and watch entire sets, unfortunately, but there were definitely some key moments. I think probably the main one for me is Sleep Token. After their short technical delay, just as soon as they came on stage, it was just clear that they're going to be an enormous phenomenon globally, because it gave me absolute chills just watching them come out with the lights and the opening of the first song. That was absolutely fantastic.
I mean, we went together for most of the day. So I saw Ithaca, who were amazing, as I expected them to be. Confessions of a Traitor, also amazing. I was lucky enough to stand side stage for a bit of Loathe and for most of Seething Akira, both of which blew me away. I think I saw the opening song of Red Method, and then got a absolutely sticky, filthy, makeup-ridden hug from Jeremy the singer backstage afterwards, and then had black makeup on me for the rest of the day. But generally, every single band that we had booked and we'd managed to catch performing had absolutely delivered, and then some. Skindred were brilliant. Managed to watch Skindred with her.
It was really nice seeing me playing Overgrown Eden in full as well, and the massive crowd and support they had for that. Actually, the one point I missed out actually was just waiting for the event to start, and then when Dendera came out, struck the first chord, and their logo faded in the background, and it was just like, the production values are a little bit better than Takedowns.
Sure.
This is good. You could kind of cut the atmosphere with a knife at that point. That was fantastic. Really nice way to start the day.
What was going through your head at that time? Were you able to just forget about everything else for a second?
Mainly, thank God we've actually started. We're here. And we stayed remarkably on time across the day as well. So that was it was a nice moment. It was obviously a long build up and a long gap since the previous one, with certainly no guarantee that it would be nearly as well received as it was. So it was a good moment.
And that performance from Dendera, was so key to them, because they're a Portsmouth band, they're a local band, and for them to be on the main stage at Portsmouth Guildhall and for Seething Akira was just one of their life goals.
A lot of them have grown up seeing big bands on that stage and thinking, I want to get up there, and that's kind of a lot of that's part of the vibe of Takedown, really. If you look at any of the old posters, you can see a lot of those bands were probably playing big stages for the first time, and now they're playing Ali Pali or touring the world. So it's nice to have that.
Are there any Portsmouth based or just South Coast bands that you're hoping to bring in for next year?
That's a good question, actually. I think we've got a year of promoting locally to kind of see who's out there and which bands that we want to work with. We might have blown our load a bit soon then if we're getting got our favourite ones already. So we'll find some more.
There are some very interesting developments that we can't talk about at the moment that will be happening, which will be invoking the local music scene very quickly, with an opportunity to be involved in Takedown.
I mean, you spoke about last time with this kind of 5-year plan with Guildhall Trust and expanding. It's obviously going to a 2-day event next year. Is there anything else you can tell us about the growth of Takedown? Kind of include a little bit maybe with that, but the idea of moving to 2 days, where did that initially come from as well, and kind of the preparations of having 2 days back to back?
Mainly came from cost saving, because we've got all of the production bought in for one day. it's already there, so you may as well use it for another day with little or no cost to you, basically, and then it can be cleared away the day afterwards, which is much better for everybody because you've got a Saturday and a Sunday, and then the Monday people come in, it's a normal working day, you don't have to pay Sunday working hours. So as basic as it is, it predominantly comes down to that. But for us, it gives us the opportunity to spread it out across even more subgenres. I think we covered it quite well in 2023, but we've got scope to expand it even further in 2024, which is quite an interesting challenge to have. And although we're keeping predominantly the same footprint that we had this year, the plan is, if the 2 days work this year with the same inside outside split that we had, then we could potentially look at going out into the Guildhall Square and taking over all of the Guildhall Square and seeing how that pans out. So there are lots of options. We just need to prove that the event is something that is consistent and will be well attended going forwards, and that we can get the bookings right and that everybody has a great time.
Would you say it leans more towards the scale of like apprehension or nervousness or excitement of going to that 2-day event? Because it's not something you've done before with it. It's something brand new. Is it a challenge for you? Are you looking at it like this could be something really exciting to push you a little bit further?
Yeah, I mean, we've already had a lot of conversations on what that's going to look like. I think we were all quite clear from the start that we didn't want to just do 2 days of the same. Because not only will that give people kind of genre fatigue, I think, but I think it's already being done quite a lot elsewhere, so we wanted to broaden the scope on the sort of artists we're booking. So both days are going to have quite a distinct flavour, I think, so it has opened up a lot more bookings, but we'll open up a lot more challenges in getting the right artist as well.
But it is super exciting. This is the fun bit for us. It's looking at our wish list of bands and then contacting those bands and seeing what we can make happen, and that is super exciting. Can be a bit downhearted when you get slapped with exclusivities, but we're so far ahead of the game now, where the festival season is only really starting for the majors, that if we make the right decisions now, we should be in a great position for 2024. So it is super exciting. I think it's exciting.
It is, yeah. And we're a known entity now as well. So whereas last time, I think people knew of us, but we've been away for a long time. And to be absolutely fair to Sleep Token's agent, they took a massive punt on putting their flagship band on what was essentially a new event. Certainly, without any recent history. Whereas now we've obviously got all of the great hype that came out of that event, and people seem to be quite a bit more amicable in terms of talking to us about their artists. So hopefully that'll pay off. Speaking
with Sleep Token there, you had them booked way in advance of this, and seeing how they blew up at the start of this year, was there like a nervousness of like the amount of people coming into there, of how it was going to be seen, how it was going to be viewed and everything like that, just seeing how quickly they grew ahead of this album coming out in a couple of weeks? Did that change anything for you?
I had to follow my gut there, really, because I think everyone, after I made the booking, everyone looked at me. We were like, our next meeting, we're like, what? Do you know what you're doing? It's like, I think so, yeah. So I did sort of throw caution to the wind there, but thankfully it paid off. But it's not the first time that's worked out at various other takedowns. You've only got to look at previous events with Don Broco headliners, and hopefully I've got
you got the knack.
Yeah. Ask me again next year when I got booked too.
I'm curious what the next sort of few months look like for you guys, and how soon we could expect maybe an announcement for next year's lineup.
We had this conversation with the Guildhall team the other day, actually, and we're looking hopefully to get something locked in and announced by early summer.
I think we're probably going to be looking at announcements starting to roll out at the same sort of time as they did last year, really. So probably September we're looking at. I think last time our hand was forced a little because I think things were a bit off kilter post-pandemic, and a number of the festivals decided to just launch with their entire lineups in one go. So we felt kind of duty-bound to do the same, but I think we'll probably be a little bit more sparing this time. And there'll likely be a couple of embargoes for other tours as well. So we'll probably roll stuff out between September and Christmas, I would have thought.
I think from our side, when we came there, it was the first time we managed to be at a takedown, and we had a good group that came with us as well. And I mean, the feedback from that is everyone enjoyed it. There was a great diversity there for everyone, separating out into different groups to see different bands. And I think that inclusivity was fantastic for it. So I think absolutely nailed it from that point.
Thanks. We loved your rowing.
Yes,
Oh, it's fantastic.
I shall be keeping that one bookmarked. There's some good memories.
Honestly, thank you very much again for joining us. Had a wonderful time. Everyone looking forward to it next year, 13th and 14th of April. We'll be back there again for sure. And can't wait to see how it develops leading up to it.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, guys.
So very grateful for Sarah and Kai once more for giving us their time. You can go and check out our vlog of Takedown Festival and the recap podcast we've done as well. That's all up on the channel. Links are going to be up here, right up here. You're going to put them there, aren't you?
They'll be somewhere. Takedown Festival was a perfect way for us to kickstart festival season for 2023. We've got Slam Dunk, Download and 2000 Trees coming up.
So many festivals.
We're so excited. You might as well hit subscribe right now so you don't miss any of it.
Like the video, comment down below. Let us know if you went to Takedown Festival, who you'd like to see there next year.
See ya.